I pressed the wrong button. I restarted it.
I don't know. You started the recording. You stopped the stream.
Anyways. It's dinner time. Should I grab dinner before I... No. No, it's not done. Okay. First of all, hello everyone that is in the video. And hello everyone on stream, of which there are 0 people, but I digress. We're recording a 6v6 versus 5v5 debate because Drax is a 5v5er and I am a 6v6er. So we're going to debate on which one's better. No insults, please. No yelling.
Fuck you.
No okay, thanks. Calm down now. No insults or nothing. We just want to have a nice conversation over the topic at hand, especially with the upcoming 6v6 balance tests. So I figured we'll do that. We have a variety of things we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about first player value, carry capability, toxicity, problematic heroes, balancing, 7v7, and then we'll get to our final thoughts. Whether or not this lasts an hour plus like the Group Up podcast does is probably up to debate because I really don't want to be sitting here till like 8 or 9.
I would just say it's going to last 3 hours until 10.
But I'm going to try to push us along if the conversations end up becoming an infinite loop of the same words being spoken.
And also, I just want to say before that we're both players from Overwatch 2.
Yes, we are.
So we haven't played Overwatch 1 and actually experienced it how it was back in Overwatch 1.
Yeah. Yeah, I started late season 1, he started early season 2.
No, not early. After the mid-season of season 2.
So late season 2.
Yeah.
Okay. And we play with each other all the time, so don't get it twisted that if we insult each other or we're arguing that we hate each other. We absolutely do not. We play with each other.
It is the worst person on the planet.
Yeah. Like what do we play? What do we play with each other? Like 40 hours a week? Like
we're calling each other.
Yeah. Yeah. So don't worry about that. We're having a nice conversation here. I was gonna invite Aiden and Grant.
Oh.
I had a feeling because they're both Overwatch 1 players that it would become a bit one-sided. And also, you would absolutely fight with Aiden and Grant over it.
Yeah.
So I decided maybe not. That's a good idea.
They're still a friend, but I'm just always joking about the fight with them and always trying to start some.
Yeah.
Even though they're friends.
So we're not gonna do that because that would be
a
bad idea.
You can't do that with them without me. It will be way better.
So the first point we're gonna talk about, and I'm gonna let you start us off here, is player ability value. And I'm also gonna send you the order in which we're doing this in the chat here.
So I want to say that I'm a tank main. I won't really talk about TPS because my aim is horrible. I won't say something, but I don't know if I should say it or not.
What is it? Type it in the chat.
Yeah. I'm not allowed to say this on YouTube.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely fucking not.
Well, because my aim is horrible, so I can't play DPS at all except my main Junkrat. So I'm a main tank. I play a lot of support also, so yeah. So player ability value. You tell me to start it, but I don't even know what that even means.
Okay, then I guess I'll start it. What I mean is, you have, in 5v5, you have 5 players on a team. In 6v6, you have 6 players on a team. What I mean by that is, in 5v5, are the actions you take as a player more valuable in 5v5 than in 6v6?
Okay. Do I still start or you?
Yeah,
do it?
you can go ahead. Yeah, you can go ahead.
5v5 has better playability value. The thing is, when you play tank as 5v5, you're the one that do plays. You're the one that started a fight. You're the one that made the fight stay longer by protecting your team. Compared to like 6v6, I feel like you're just too weak as a tank to actually make plays by yourself like you can do currently. I know a lot of people saying that the problem with 5v5 is that when you play tank, you play in counter swap. That's not how you play tank. I never play counter swap and I'm still winning my games. I look in your face, Joey, and you're already tired.
Oh
But yeah,
my
it's
god.
just tank in 5v5 has more power on the game than if it's a tank in 6v6.
Okay. We're already opening the Pandora's fucking box. But I'll get into this. As a tank, in 5v5, you only have one set of cooldowns, which means your cooldowns and the actions you take technically do have more value. But I will mention that I will mention that if you can kill someone only because you have better stats than them, that's not really indicative of the skill expression that is supposed to be part of the game. If you have two tanks that are lower HP and they both have their own cooldowns, that means you're both able to show skill expression to win a fight. DPS, yes, they have an easier time winning fights against you alone in 6v6, but in my opinion, that is better because that lets the DPS have more value instead of shooting a giant bullet sponge, and they can get one of the enemy tanks out. In 5v5, the DPS and supports have less value because they can't actually get past the bullet sponge. Now, the times where you can, like if you're playing Tracer or not Sombra, then yes, you absolutely have more value. But the only reason you have more value is because you're missing another person that has basically been absorbed into the tank that's being played. You basically have, 1.75 times the health of a normal tank in 6v6. So you can do a lot more just because you have better stats. It is my opinion that a Brig should be able to fight a Winston in a 1v1. And if the Brig is better, the Brig should win. Or a Soldier should be able to fight a Sigma. And if the Soldier is better, the Soldier should win. I am a big proponent of the better skilled player should be the one winning. Unless we're talking about Widow. But that's, we'll get into that later, so it doesn't matter.
Widow's OP.
But my point is, while yes, on paper you have more player ability value, you do not necessarily have more value only because the tank is so powerful. Because you can kill all the squishies and all the DPS you want, but the second you try to actually attack the third role on your own, you're going to lose that fight 99% of the time. And in my opinion, not being able to attack a whole third of the team is a lot worse than being able to attack everyone on the enemy team and win fights if you're better. So I think 6v6 in practice has more player ability value. What's up, Astrax?
Brain's empty.
Anything else you want to add to that?
I don't know if it's for now, but you didn't talk about counter swapping.
No, we will.
Is it?
We will. That's in the problematic
it's not.
section.
Okay, it's not with player ability value.
Nothing
so now
else?
we go. No.
Okay.
It's
Next
here that I
is-
don't know what the fuck I'm talking about though.
Next is carrying capacity, or carry capability, and that is obviously how well are you off if you need to carry the team.
Yeah.
Do you want to start?
Yeah, like I've said at the start, you, as a single tank in 5v5, you carry more than if it's a 6v6 with 2 tanks. Because if you fall, well, your whole team will fall too. Because you're the main reason your team can stay alive. Without having support healing, you're the reason your team can push, your team can start fights. So, of course, if you're the only tank, you have a lot of carry. And if you don't know how to play tank, your team won't be able to play well. Even if they're good. So, in my opinion, 5v5 has better carry capability. I can say that I got them word than 6v6.
Okay. Now, my counter argument to that is I think 6v6 has more carry capability only because you have one more teammate. And that is it. That is the key to the solution to the issue. Because you have another teammate. If you have one bad teammate, think of it. If you have one bad teammate on your team in 5v5, that is a 4v5. Okay? That is
and then it's a 6v5.
Yeah, but if you have it in 6v6, it's a 5v6. But think of it in percentages. Your team, in 5v5, every character is 20% of the team.
Yeah, I can count.
Okay? Every character is 20%. And 6v6 is probably some odd number like 17% or something like that. Point is, a smaller percentage of your team is holding you back.
Yeah, 16.66.
Yeah.
Periodic.
A smaller percentage of your team is holding you back. Meaning, I mean, how much harder is it to put out more DPS as a Zarya Rein when one of your DPS are lacking? It's not. Just bubble Rein, let him go in. You know? It's pretty simple. And Zarya already has great damage. Rein has damage, but but still, the addition of the bubble to let you go in lets you compensate for people lacking that are on your team. If you're lacking a healer, guess what? You guys just go Junker Queen Hog, and you only need to rely on one healer now because you both heal yourselves. It's a lot easier to deal with one. Drax. Just shush. I main Brig. Just shush. Just shush.
You don't call them healer.
But the point is, you can work around one teammate being bad in 6v6 a lot more. Now, that kind of falls apart when, you know, 2 teammates or 3 teammates are bad, because then you're just fucked. But I mean, the same thing happens in 5v5. And another thing, if one tank dies in 6v6, you don't fall over. If your last tank plays it right, you don't fall over. Meaning that, yeah, even if the Rein on our team is feeding hard, I, as a Zarya or a D.Va or what have you, I can still stay back and peel the team. I can still stay back and help my team while the Rein feeds himself, 2 and 27 the entire match. It's going to be hard to win, but it's not going to be impossible to win because you at least have one of each role. Because as long as you have at least one of each role, you still have the Holy Trinity. That's a square. You still have the Holy Trinity, which is DPS, support, and tank.
Thank you.
So you're still able to play. You're still able to play the game as intended. So in that circumstance, I think 6v6 has more carry capability. Not because on an individual scale you have more carry capability, because in 5v5 you absolutely have more individual carry capability. I'm not arguing for that. I'm saying the whole team is able to carry the lacking person more and more efficiently in 6v6 because of the addition of another tank.
So we keep talking about tank, but it's just because tank changed more than support or DPS.
I'm kind of addressing all of it, but you're kind of
addressing only tank.
Yeah.
Because tank are gonna change 6v6 compared to 5v5, but not really DPS and support that much.
Yeah. So, do you have anything to add to that, or do you want to move on to toxicity?
Just the fact that I'm someone really picky and I hate anyone that calls support healer.
Fair enough.
So toxicity, it won't change. Toxicity won't change compared to 566. That people will still be toxic about 1 or 2 times being bad, the DPS being bad. Like toxicity won't change at all between 566. There'll be just 5 teammates to scream at instead of 4.
Yeah, but what I mean by toxicity is it kind of bleeds into carry capability a little bit. If you have a teammate that's like, oh, the healers aren't healing, you know, they say healers aren't healing. No, listen, Drax. Okay. Name any toxic DPS that actually called the support healers. I mean, that actually called the support, okay? Think of one. You're not toxic, though. But think of it. The reason I said healers there is because nobody that blames the supports calls them supports.
I realize that every toxic player calls support healer. That means every single person that calls support healer are toxic players.
That is not correlation. Is not causation. Correlation is not causation.
The correlation
that is completely false.
It's like calling Mora a DPS. She's a support for a reason. Shut up. She's a support. You know how picky I am with those things.
She's a support DPS.
A support DPS.
A support DPS. Yeah. She's a
support
DPS.
Has do damage.
Yeah, a support DPS.
Like any Lifer can also be a support DPS. Good Lifer like me or support DPS, but he's still a support. Because he's the support. Like Surtur is not a support because he heal. He's a DPS because he's a DPS.
But point is,
we are out of the question. We are far away.
Way off track. Point is, toxicity is going to be lowered. Not only, think of it this way, you're going to be able to report the toxic player with more people, which already will help toxicity because more people are going to get reported faster, and that means they're going to get banned faster. You know? So not only that, but you'll be able to carry the teammate that is throwing a lot easier because you'll have an additional person. Like I said, it kind of bleeds into carry capability. If you have someone that's throwing or just blaming the supports, who fucking cares in 6v6? You can just ignore them the entire game and carry them. I should have probably adjusted the titles of the sections, huh? There. That's better. It's not in the middle, but it's close enough.
And now we are for problematic heroes?
Yeah.
So in 5v5, which hero problematic? No one.
No
heroes are problematic in 5v5.
I'm talking about like counter swapping, Sombra and Widow.
Counter swap is useless against me.
Okay,
just learn to play against it.
That's not what the question is for.
Counter swapping is a big part of the game.
We're supposed to be debating which is better, 5v5 or 6v6.
So,
we're not supposed to be debating whether or not it works on you. You know.
In 5v5, there is counter swap, which is a big problem. The thing is that people let themselves also counter swap, so they don't fix the problem with the counter swap thing. So yeah, there's the counter swap, Sombra, Widow if you don't go dive. There's also mid that can just wall you off and then you get fucked. So there's Bastion that can just shred you down if you're not careful enough. I'm losing my voice, I feel like. But yeah. I feel like CG6 is better than 5v5 for this section of the game. For the problematic hero.
Why do you think that though?
Because I'm thinking in into a tank point of view instead of just the whole team. So like if they have a widow, you can go main tank and act like a tank like in 5v5, and then the other one go die for getting rid of the widow. Then if there's a mage just walling you off, at least the other tank will be able to survive. If there's a Sombra, you can take up the lead while your tank is unable to attack. But if Bastion straight one of your tank, the other one can come to the rescue and everything like this. Cooperative, there's just one tank, just won't help. And also in CV6, there's no counter swap for tanks.
Jax, you just argued for 6v6. You were talking about two tanks sharing the...
Yeah, I know. That's why I said that CV6 is better than 5v5 for this.
Oh, I thought I heard you say 5v5 is better for this, and then talk that 6v6 was worse, and then prove 6v6 points, and I went, that doesn't make any damn sense.
For this section, I will accept that 6v6 is better for the problematic heroes because of everything that can destroy a tank. Yeah, if you're not careful enough.
It adds the needed flexibility that a normal one tank in 5v5 just can't do.
Yeah. So I can't lie. This is a point for you.
Yeah.
This is the first point and the only point we're going to give.
I also want to talk about counter swapping a little bit, because counter swapping in 5v5, it is just rampant. Do you remember the game where I can't remember. It was a Flashpoint. The one that won by Mauga. It was Suravasa. Remember, I played Ram. He switched to Mauga. I switched to Mauga. He switched to Rhine. I switched to Rhine. He switched to Ram. I switched to Ram. He switched to Mauga. And that happened for like 30 seconds in spawn. It was awful. It was fucking awful.
It is awful because you're letting it be awful.
Well,
I found a way to go around that.
Okay.
Learning how to play against my counters.
Well, yes, I know how to play against a Mauga now. But this was before we were good enough to actually be able to play against her counters really well. Okay?
Yeah. I really learned not to play Mauga my counter in the last seasons.
But point is, even if now we can do it, it is still a problem, regardless.
Yeah.
Even if it doesn't work on us and the ranks we're in, it's still a problem. It doesn't solve the issue. You know? It only solves it for us, not for everyone.
Also, it's also for that people think that you need to play counter swap to actually win. Like every time we see people, I say every time I get counter swap, like counter swap really, and they're like, that's how you play the game. And if I'm saying no, it's not like this to play the game, they're laughing at me because I'm saying that counter swap is not how you play the game. Well, it's not how you play the game.
What I think you mean is it's not how you're meant to play the game.
Exactly. And that's not how you play the game.
Yeah.
Because it's not a sandbox game.
It's definitely how people play the game, but it's not how you're meant to play the game.
And that's what people don't understand. People think Counter-Swap is the way to go. It's not. If you're playing against a hero and you're not good, learn to play against. Zarya was my biggest threat before. Now it's whatever. Yes, it's still a big counter for my Sigma, but I can go around it. And it will annoy me to play against Zarya, but I can try to go around it. Well, it's still playing Sig. My screen went red for a second, I don't fucking know why.
Yeah, it's done that like I think 3 or 4 times now. It's a little weird. But yeah, I agree that 6v6 is definitely better for taking care of problematic heroes. And it just immediately solves counter swapping. Just immediately. Not that it won't, not that it'll stop existing. It's always going to exist. It's part of the game. But it's not going to be a rampant issue like if you're in Grandmaster and the enemy tank counter swaps. There's really not much you can do at that point but swap. Like at the highest levels of play, because if everyone's playing to perfection, they're going to win because they have the hero advantage.
Well, if you know how to play every single hero, yes.
Yeah. So,
which I don't.
In the high elo, it's definitely more of an issue.
Yeah.
Than down here in like plat diamond lobbies. So, you know, it's
gold too. And gold.
Yeah. But it's still a problem and it's not going to go away. But 6v6 definitely solves it almost almost 100%.
Yeah, we've been playing Open Goose in the start of the season, and we're both going Sigma Ramatra, and we're not encountering any counter swap because it's impossible to pick a counter for both of the tanks.
Yeah. Well, not true. You could play
You could play it.
Zarya and Orisa, but like those two don't.
They
no,
counter each
play,
of them, but the other one can deal with the other.
Yeah, that's true. That's basically it. Yeah.
That's why counter swap doesn't work in CV6. That if you want to actually counter swap, you need to counter swap for the two tanks and not just one. Because if you counter for one tank, the other one will take the lead to stop you.
Yeah. The next thing is balancing.
That is a big problem in the community.
Okay, balancing, not the community.
The community is the main problem. I will say
it's not what we discussed. We discussed.
Are we not talking about the worst problem about the game?
Balancing, not the community.
Balancing. You know what's my
We'll talk about the community on a different video. Talking about balancing. No. Just balancing.
You don't want to walk on
We're
it today.
We're not opening that can of worms today. Absolutely not. We'll be here till midnight.
So balancing. Well, the only thing I know is that if it's just 5 to 66, tanks are gonna be nerfed way more than they are since So What You came out. Like a lot of tanks are gonna, all the tanks are gonna have their health reduced. Some will have cooldown nerf, and even damage nerf maybe for some of the hero. We're also balancing. There will be some problematic with some combo of hero. Do I talk about the combo that will be horrible to fight against?
That's fine. Yeah.
There will be Hog Mauga, Mauga Orisa, Mauga Zarya. I love Mauga because Mauga with another thing will be fucking repeat.
Mauga plus someone other than Mauga equals broken.
Someone that can Hog for brain and tank 2 Mauga so you can melt him. Zarya for bubbling the Mauga when it goes in. Orisa and Mauga will literally be unkillable tanks. My problem with the balancing is that not only all the tanks will be nerfed, which is understandable, is that there will be horrible combos of tank that will be really hard to deal with. Ramatra is made for a 5-5 combo and now it will be put back to 6v6, which I don't know how they're going to handle it because they're not seem to be handling good with any of the tanks when they went from 6v6 to 5v5. But also a horrible combo of tank, like I've said with Mauga. Oh, okay, so one that I know the most about that will be horrible to fight against.
Yeah. I understand the problem of like Mauga Hog, Mauga Orisa. Now, I will say, they did say they're reworking some heroes for the 6v6 test. So, I'm kind of interested to see that if maybe Mauga is more defensive than offensive.
Like, he does less damage overall. I didn't know they were going to rework some heroes.
Yeah, they said in the blog post that
I know they were going to
heroes for 6v6 specifically.
Only tanks, also DPS and support.
They just said heroes, so I'm assuming.
Okay, so that is already more interesting than I thought about. We really need to test it out.
I don't think it's just gonna be balance changes. I think like Orisa might get a shield again, for example.
So she doesn't. I don't.
Right now, Orisa is basically the bully of the tank category. Well,
and then you had Mauga Hog with her and then.
Yeah. Those are the trifecta of bullies for the tank category. And I think they are probably most likely them specifically are going to get reworked, if I had to guess.
You think they're going to finally show that Reaper rework?
No, they canceled it. Did you not?
Oh, they canceled it?
Yeah, they canceled it.
Ah,
They said they tested trying to make Reaper work better, but...
So he won't have a 700 fire.
They couldn't get his teleport to work how they wanted it to, so he's not getting a rework.
Okay, so he won't ever get a 700 fire.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. I'm sad about it too.
He could have thrown a bomb, you know. Something that goes really well with his kit.
But they're gonna rework things, so I'm pretty hopeful that they're gonna make some of the really problematic heroes like Widow, Sombra.
Like Ryan, you know.
Watch Ryan get a rework to not have a fucking shield, dude. That would be crazy annoying.
His shield is only. Imagine his shield is only when he fucking uses hammer. So you need to always do that.
But generally, I'm hopeful that they rework the characters that are problematic. In fact, something I'd like to see in the 6v6 tests, I'd like to see Ram actually have a shield. I know he already has a shield, but it lasts for 3 seconds on a 12-second cooldown. What the fuck? Sigma gets his shield back in that amount of time, like twice. And he has a 700 HP shield. Lower Ram's HP of his shield to like 700, 600.
It's always at 7.
No, I said Ram.
Yes, Ram's shield is
it's at 1,000.
It's 1,000?
Yeah, it's 1,000, dude.
It's that much?
Yes.
So that's why they never break.
Yes.
I'm gonna look how much day we have left before the season's end.
But
wait, are we not?
I'd like for Ram to have an actual shield, because that would actually make him a poke tank. Right now, he can pull up a shield, go for 3 seconds, and then hides around a corner for 9. And then he comes back up, he puts up his shield, goes, and then he runs away. He can't do anything for poke. I want him to have a shield that actually lasts, even if it doesn't regen fast.
Wait a second. Is tomorrow the mid-season patch already?
No.
It's in 2 weeks?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is only the second, maybe the third week.
Yeah, it's gonna be the third week, I feel like. We have 41 days starting tomorrow.
But I'd like to see some reworks. I'm hopeful. I'm also scared because if they just go half-ass it and go, meh, here, take Orisa Halt plus Orisa's Overwatch 2 thing, like, I'll be like, cool.
I mean, they will be mixing Overwatch 1 and Overwatch 2 abilities, which can be good.
Yeah.
Make Orisa between Overwatch 1 and Overwatch 2 an actual balanced tank.
And I don't know. I just,
back
like, if Hog healed his teammates, that would actually go crazy. If Hog, when he used Breather, healed his teammates, that would go so.
Like he had in one of the game mode recently.
Yeah,
there was a game mode that he could heal his team.
Yeah, because they did it. It was actually it originated in an experimental card in Overwatch 1, where one of his to be reworks was he could heal his teammates when he healed, which would be absolutely amazing. I think it should be implemented.
They will, because of that, nerf the healing for all of his breeder, so it'll be less tanky.
Well, yeah, but I mean, he's not supposed to be. You know, he's an off tank in Overwatch 1. He's supposed to help the enemy tank by when they go in. When
Overwatch 1 is dead.
When the main tank goes in, he's supposed to take that distraction that he made and go for a hook pick. So, I mean, it's not like he needs to be really tanky in Overwatch 1 anyway. Next thing on the chopping block.
7v7, which is horrible to say. It doesn't sound good, right? 7v7.
This is something I'm excited to talk about because I think 7v7 is an amazing idea. And I don't mean that jokingly.
It's an amazing idea, you know, it will change the whole world of perception.
Well, think about it.
And that's what doesn't make no sense.
Think about it. Okay?
Oh yeah, 3 times 2 DPS to support. Wait, that make it.
No, listen to what I'm saying. They recently shared the queue times and how many players are in each role. Tank had 1.5 Okay, I'm just gonna use 1.5 to 3. Okay. There's 3 players in the DPS category. 2 players in the support category and 1.5 players in the tank category. Okay? That means, for every 1.5 tank players, there's 3 DPS players, and for every 3 DPS players, there's 2 support players. Okay?
So 2 tank, 3 DPS, 2 support.
But if you add a tank, okay, which now there's more tanks, so people are probably going to want to play tank more just because there's more options now. And you add a DPS so that you have 3 DPS in a game, that lowers the queue times. Instead of deleting a tank, you just add a DPS. Problem solved. And then you have 2-3-2. Not only do tanks get to have their second tank, but DPS players actually get low queue times for once in their fucking lives. I think that's a great idea, and it would work. Now, you would have to nerf the DPS, which they might not like.
We're getting nerfed? That's not fair.
Especially because DPS players really like being the overpowered ones on the field.
And then they will. Okay,
But-
community's not for this video.
But I think it's a great idea. It would solve every single problem. It would solve the counter swapping problem. It would solve the queue time problem. It would solve almost everything. The only thing that I think would suffer a little bit is player capability, carry capability, and
Support.
probably balancing would be a problem. No, support wouldn't be a problem because supports actually heal too much right now. In my
They
personal
don't.
opinion, they heal
think they
still
do.
too much, and I am a fucking support main. They heal. Do you know how easy it is to just fucking play the game as Brig?
No. I don't have any opinions on it.
Lastly, I think overall, I still think 66 is better. I'm sure you still think 5 is better. I still prefer 77, but I don't think it's good.
No, it's not gonna happen. Not for a long time.
Anyways,
Bye.